Just a word of warning here, if you are of a sensitive nature, the pictures that follow can be distressing. Hey, Dr. Andre here. Welcome to the Health Drive, and today we're talking with Jackie, who has a fascinating and really very challenging story of a disastrous side effect that she suffered from what would be a fairly routine aesthetic dermal filler procedure. It went wrong. It went so badly wrong, and it resulted in major surgeries, a period of significant facial disfigurement, and really how Jackie got through this is a miracle. And it was a procedure she had done some years before I got to know her, and she tells her story about what can go wrong from a very simple, everyday treatment, and really how they can go dramatically wrong. Let's listen to her story, her bravery, her happy outcome at the current time. Right. Jackie, welcome.
Hi.
To the Health Drive.
Hello, hello.
And you have quite the tale to tell today.
Yes.
Now, I've been an aesthetic practitioner for close to 10 years, and something happened to you about 8-9 years ago, which we're going to talk to today. And I'd never seen anything quite so serious in the field. It's something that happened in a different clinic before we knew each other.
Yes.
And I saw you after you'd been through the process, had surgery for correction, and we met at that time to see what else we could do at that stage. And what we're talking about is a complication from having an aesthetic filler procedure, which there are millions done in the country every year. So it is, I will say now as I squeeze out of here, because it's a bit tight, isn't it?
Just a little bit, yeah.
I'll have to back a bit. Aspects of this chat are not for the faint-hearted. We'll show some pictures of what happened, the progression of the complication, and they are quite dramatic.
They are, yes.
And they are, I know they're upsetting for you to see, but you've, over these last few years, come to terms with what happened as best you can, and you're happy to share it with people, because it is a very powerful story that I think brings up many aspects of this industry of aesthetics, the importance of safety, of aftercare, of potential complications which are often overlooked, and unfortunately you found yourself on the wrong end of one of these rare complications. So just take us back to your decision making all those years ago about having something done aesthetically. What were you thinking at that time?
Well, at the time, the specific lady that I'd been going to for probably 5 or 6 years, fully qualified aesthetic doctor with all the qualifications and everything and all the requirements, and I'd been going to her for the odd bit of botox here and there, and everything was fine, never any issues. And then 2016, just briefly, I lost my dad, and I wasn't coping with it very well. It hit me quite badly, and I wasn't eating properly, and I just thought that my face looked a bit drawn, a little bit on the thin side. And I went to her and I explained the situation, and I said, look, I just need you to do something that will maybe just give me a bit of fullness, And she said, okay, well, we'll go for cheek fillers. And I'd never had cheek fillers before. So I thought, and because I trusted her, I didn't waver. I wasn't thinking, oh, I don't know. So I said, yeah, okay, let's go for it. So she did the cheek fillers, and everything seemed fine. Because I've not had them before, I wasn't aware of what anything could go wrong. So anyway, fast forward a couple of weeks, and just felt a bit lumpy and a little bit tender.
About 2 weeks after that.
About 2 weeks after. So anyway, I tried to get hold of her. She was based in this country, and then she'd gone abroad. So I messaged her and said, look, it doesn't feel right. And I was kind of hoping for like FaceTime or something like that, and no, she said, no, don't worry about it, it's absolutely fine, it's normal, it's just bruising, it will go down, just leave it. So quite literally I sat there and left it to fester in my face, and it got bigger. I will show you in the pictures, obviously we will show people who wants to see it. Started to have abscesses.
So red raised.
Very red, very raised.
Very raised.
Very raised.
In terms of not something you could say it's just a small spot. This is the size of.
No.
Almost like reaching like golf ball size at this point.
Absolutely. I mean, at the beginning, I was that embarrassed, and people like were saying, "Well, what?" I blamed it on dentistry. You know, like, "Oh, I've had a dentist thing and it's gone septic," or just whatever, rather than admit that, you know, and I just felt so stupid.
So you did not want to admit to people that you'd done something for purely aesthetic grounds, just for vanity or whatever. And you didn't want people to judge you on that.
Because there are the group of people that, well, you know, the moral of the story is grow old gracefully, and you know, in the last 9 years, I will say that I've heard every comment, every piece of advice, what you should and shouldn't do. Usually I'll say from people that don't have any beauty treatments. Most of the people that do I've spoken to understand and just think they're booked for the grace of God, you know.
Yeah.
So though, fast forward, I went to
So you've had this procedure done. I'll just guide people through. So it's a filler in the cheek, basically done by needle or done by cannula. It's
cannula.
It's basically a gel that comes in a syringe, normally packaged, very sort of colourful box. We're looking to volumize the face. You've lost some volume, and we can recreate some lift in the face, some better facial contouring by injecting it through the skin into the fat pad to create a fullness. That was the treatment.
Yes.
After a few days, you notice something isn't quite right. It becomes red, inflamed, raised, more raised. You're getting more scared, you're getting more embarrassed, more fearful, but eventually it's reached a point whereby it looks truly medical. Like it's a medical issue. Okay, that can't be ignored. Something is wrong. Where do you go to at that point for help?
Well, I'd seen a couple of doctors that had just, you know, looked on the internet and thought, I need somebody to help me, and they did as far as they could. But scary situation, and I'm sure you can appreciate that. You'd look and think, oh, I don't know if I want to go down that road, because it does look so serious. So I took myself to Wythenshawe Hospital because one of the abscesses had burst.
Okay, so it had broken down to the point of it was now oozing something out, which is very, very scary for you. And then you've got to go to a hospital and tell the NHS what's happened.
Yeah.
What sort of a welcome did you get from the NHS first time? Because that can be quite a challenge.
Yes. First time I went, they said, we're not touching you because it's aesthetic, you know, self-inflicted, if you like. They didn't actually say that, but nearest damn it. And then I went back to see another doctor, and he said, no, I know the plastic surgeon at Wythenshawe Hospital, and he is going to see you. I am determined. And that was Dr. Chakrabarti, that is.
Dr. Andre here. I do hope you're enjoying our episode of The Health Drive with Jackie. We shall be back with Jackie just after this short message. Hi, Dr. Andre here. Well, thanks for watching The Health Drive, and check out our all-natural supplement range, Optimum Day and Night. Now, thousands of people in the UK, the USA and beyond have been using the Oxford Natural supplements to get better sleep, better energy and better overall well-being. Optimum Day, which I always use, is designed to boost energy, to curb cravings, and to keep your metabolism firing all day. Optimum Night, well, that's different. That helps you to relax, to sleep deeply, and to restore while your body is recharging overnight. Now, they aren't magic pills. They are a science-based way to help you feel your best. We've had such great results. Check out Michael Owen, the England footballer, Robbie Lyle from AFTV, Linda, a PI lawyer, Anita, an immigration lawyer, and Owen from United View. All of them have found better control of their daily habits, better mood, energy, focus. And now it's your turn. So scan the QR code, click the link, and use the code word DRIVE for 70% off your first order. Oxford Natural. No gimmicks, no needles, just results. Let's get to it. And at this point in time, you're not really getting much communication from the injector who've done it.
No.
Even though they know you've had a complication, and that could deteriorate, they are not ringing you every day or checking every 48 hours or asking you to send pictures or updates. Even though they're the other side of an ocean, they are not at this point interested.
Still contactable though, aren't they? And I sent her some photographs, and she said to me, and I'm quoting it here, she said to me, "Oh, you poor thing, I've never seen anything like it. If you come back when it's sorted, I'll give you free treatments." And just words, I didn't have any. I just thought, what the hell, you know? So I got booked in at Wythenshawe Hospital with what I would say is their best plastic surgeon, Dr. Chakrabarty, and he, no judgment, you know, he was just concerned about the care, and I had to give him the full story, which was fine. And then he didn't really know anything about fillers and stuff because that's not his neck of the woods, you know. So by this point, I was told that it had turned into granuloma, which, for what people don't know, it's nodules under the skin.
Yeah.
And they are quite like beads, like balls, if you like, tiny, and they formulate one big one. And so I've had, over the last few years, my face cut open quite a few times.
Because it's both sides. We'll see from the pictures here, and again, a warning if you're of a gentle constitution, they are quite powerful pictures, but we can see that both sides of your face are affected. So
yeah, well, one side
right
was at first, and then he, again, like trigger warning, if he cut my face open to get the granuloma out and the infection and the abscesses and everything that was going on, and then that was done and I came home, and then probably about a week later I thought, oh my God, because I know that feeling. There was another one forming on the other side of my face, and I thought, I can't believe, you know.
I mean, how did you feel with that? So one side had been affected, and operated, and then you go home thinking, wow, that was as bad as it was.
Yeah,
I will have to now deal with this, and then this other side becomes affected. And what are you thinking at that point?
I don't know if I can do this. I genuinely thought, I don't know if I can. I wasn't going out. I just couldn't figure what the best thing to do was, because to me it was a situation that, well, one, it's your face, and you know, I am naturally quite a confident person, a very outgoing person, and happy and whatever. And yeah, I just thought, how can I've got a dog that needs walking. How am I gonna? So I just wrapped myself in a scarf. But I went back to the hospital to see Dr. Chakrabarty again, and he did the same on the other side.
Gosh.
Cut it all open.
It's wonderful to have a sympathetic surgeon. I know it is certainly within the culture of the NHS to say this is not our problem, it's self-inflicted, which is a weird way of looking at it, because if you're playing football and you break your leg, they don't say, well, it's your own fault, you play football. They would normally just treat you. There's a definite judgment that goes on in the hospital. I can see where it comes from, but I think it's something,
because it's down to vanity at the end of the day. Now, no matter how you dress it up, that's how they see it. That you want it to look better. God forbid. You know, I should want to look. You know, and that's how they. You know.
That's right, but no one needs to play football. You know, you can get fit lots of ways.
I know.
Not playing
and
football.
the thing is that upset me was, do they not think that I'm already thinking that? Nobody can blame me more than me, you know. I have cried rivers over it, and I have beat myself up more than anybody could beat me up.
I mean, how did you think about your appearance before this happened? How would you describe how you would do your hair, your makeup, look after yourself? You were very proud in that way. You were very.
If I'm honest with you, I didn't need anything doing, and anybody that sees my before pictures will go, "What were you thinking?"
You're looking to tweak things.
I know.
To find the onset of age. These things do. So many treatments are done with no complication. These things are actually remarkably well designed.
Yes.
Almost to bypass the inexperience of lots of people that use it. The face is very, very forgiving normally. It's got a massive blood system, a defense system. and it can normally battle against the most inexperienced injector and the high quality products and high quality needles and aseptic technique. These things mean that complications are thankfully rare, but at the same time they do happen. Do you think, were you counselled before it happened that this sort of thing can happen? Was that part of the consultation process as you remember it?
Not in the way that it should be, let's put it that way, you know. Because I'd never had cheek fillers, and she knew that. I mean, she possibly needed to sit down and give me a good stiff talking to, and say,
there was no thinking time, like go away, have a day,
no,
think about it, come back. It was like,
no.
here's an idea, but I can do this. Let's do it now, which is not really the way things should be. There should be a period of time of reflection. You can maybe go back, think, do your research, decide that's what I want to do, and then come back and have it done.
Well, more so maybe because she knew I was grieving about my dad, so my head was probably, you know, not in the right place. Not that that's her issue, but, you know, if you're going to have something big done and you know that that person is possibly not in the right frame of mind and making big decisions, but no, it was just
more transactional. It was more, you want something, I can do something,
and cross my palm with silver type thing.
And this is a big issue, and often where aesthetics goes wrong is when it is transactional. When there is a person who says, look, I think you need this, I can do it right now, or you say, I've thought about this, they go, yes, I can do that, and then money's
before you change your mind.
And really, money is, it's obviously, it is a business, but first and foremost, it should be seen as being a treatment that's sensible and appropriate and be delivered in a calm way, where the patient has had time to reflect and consider that it's best for them. Generally, in those situations, you don't get that many complications. It's often when things are rushed and there's a pressure of time or your cut price, then complications generally tend to that's what they happen. So you go for the second surgery. And I mean, how do you cope with 2 operations of that kind in a short space of time? I'm looking at a face that maybe you don't recognise at this point, because we see from the pictures again, more about the pictures, we can see there's a lot of indented scarring. The surgeon's done wonders to remove the issue.
Yeah, but also removed the muscle from the cheeks. It just had to. You kind of had to just take everything out, and so I was looking. If I'm honest, look about 100, very skeletal, and there was no muscle mass there.
You lost a lot of fat. All the fats had to come out.
Just to make sure they got everything out.
So when you look at yourself at that time and you can see that both sides are now deeply scarred, what do you say to yourself in the mirror? How do you come to terms with it?
Well, I mean, there's not a lot you can say, but you see, like we were talking before about football, if you break your leg, you know, you've probably got about 6 weeks and things will be fine. But when I was looking at this, I thought, this is never going to be fine. It's never going to be fine. And even to this day, I mean, although the trauma, because I do call it trauma, it's kind of subsided now. And thanks to a lot of people, I look better than I did. I'll never look like I did. But I mean, you've got age into the mix here as well, you know. I mean, this is nearly 10 years ago, so with the best will in the world, I wouldn't look like I did 10 years ago. So yeah, sorry, I've probably gone off topic there.
So I'm saying there's this new face that you then have to get used to. You have to adapt to. This is now the new Jackie. You have some other surgeries later for, is it fat transfer?
I did have to have a fat transfer. Well, fortunately, COVID kicked in, so I don't like wearing masks, but I was grateful for that at least. You know, I could cover the lower part of my face.
Did that feel like you were suddenly on an equal footing as other people again? Like
I didn't stand out as much, put it that way. I mean, I've spoken to you about this many times, and even when you asked me, you know, if I wanted to do this chat thing, one of the things I thought was, how do you cope if people are mean about it or say horrible things? And then I thought, you know what? For me, it's been a learning curve and very, very humbling. experience, in as much as there have been lots of things been said, nasty things. A couple of them were, oh, we thought you'd been in a car crash, or we thought you'd been bitten by a dog and savaged by a dog, and then the other one was, we thought you'd had cancer of the face. So all these things they build you, you know. So there's nothing anybody can throw at me that I've not heard before. But what I did learn was that for all the horrible things that people say, there are a lot of kind people in the world that will help you. You are one of a few people that I will be forever grateful, because I came to see you on a whim. I just thought, I've heard lots of good things about you, and I thought, it's that initial walking in and them going, oh my God, what's happened here, you know. But you didn't, and you quite literally took me on face value, and you listened to my story, and you were kind, which is a massive thing for me. And yeah, you listened and you offered help, you know, and sort of like, let's sit down and see what we can do, you know, in terms of, because my face had healed a bit by then, you know. I was probably 2 or 3 years down the line, and yeah, I think we went through the Morpheus 8 thing because of the scarring and that, you know.
Yeah, we're looking to improve the quality of the skin, deep treatments that way, bit of anti-wrinkle here and there, just within what would be sensible.
Fortunately, I'm not in a bubble where I think, oh, I need to look like I did. I'm realistic, so I just work with what I've got, you know. That's why I always have to make my hair look nice and my teeth look nice, and just to make up for, you know, stuff that you can't do. I have accepted what I am, but I think overall, what I would like to say to people, that people will always have fillers and botox and various other beauty treatments, but to just maybe think a bit longer before you go headlong, and find out what happens if it goes wrong.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? If she had said, Jackie, come on in, we need to have a look at this, we need to know what's going on, a lot of it could have been prevented, you know, with the hyalase to take out the filler. And it's a massive thing, because people that have it never hear about stories like mine, and they think, oh, it can't be that bad. No. You know.
I mean, it's absolutely out there as a potential complication. Same as complications for many surgeries or treatments. These things can happen, and
they can go wrong.
And this is not me saying that I could never have a complication, because it could certainly happen. Even with the best control will in the world, there are always these issues that can occur. But the key is that no one should ever say, oh, I've never seen this before. You should simply say, yes, I know what this is, okay, and I know what to do, and I'm going to bring you every day, and we're going to get through this together. Because let's face it, the person that did it was the person that did it. Okay?
Absolutely.
We can't say that we don't know what happened, but as the person who did the procedure, you must adopt the role of, I did this to you. So let's assume that it's what I've done, and I must then correct it as best I can.
Or at least try.
Rather than saying, oh, it's you, love. It's just you. It never happened to anybody else. It's just you, which is clearly a very powerful statement for a patient. It's like, it's my fault.
Yeah, well, she said, how unlucky are you? And I thought, well, don't think luck comes into it, really. But...
So we need to be looked after. You know,
yes,
we need to go to someone
100%,
who is in the caring profession, who abides by good medical practice, and also has the ability to look after you, to prescribe aftercare, to refer you direct to a service, to see you on a regular basis. Not someone who comes and goes and you're never going to see them for months on end afterwards. That's not the way you can deliver care. We can all deliver. Anyone can deliver treatment. Anybody. You know, my bin man could deliver treatment. We can all deliver it. Okay. But can you care for somebody
when it goes
That's
wrong?
completely different. And you can't learn how to care for people in a weekend course when you know they're going to pass you anyway because you've paid for it. You cannot learn care that way. Care is something that, one, you need to be born with, or you understand as an educational, philosophical position. It's what I'm doing for you. And you need years of experience to deliver adequate care after you've done something.
Yes.
And that, I think, is the take-home message I would like people to have, is that, you know, it's not enough just to have a certificate or to have rooms, or because people are going to have these things done in back end of here and someone's shed and all these places, thinking, you know, by the grace of God and the power of the face's protective mechanisms, you get away with that. But when it goes wrong, it tends to be way more expensive in terms of money.
Well, I think also that, you know, when you're trying to say to somebody, look, this is what's happened under your care, what you've done, I suspect that she's thinking, oh my God, I'm going to get blamed for this. I'm going to get closed down. I'm going to get... But just by taking yourself out of that equation has not helped at all. I'm left there to Google things myself that I know nothing about. But if, like you say, the practitioner who is an expert in the game should be able to say, right, I know what to do now. You just come in and we'll sort it out together. But I mean, even 9 years down the line, she knows where I'm at. But I've never had, how are you doing? You know, I wouldn't want it anyway, don't get me wrong, but there's just zero care, you know.
I know you got in touch with the manufacturer at some points, just to make them aware of what happened. We don't know what happened in terms of this product that was used. Because basically 3 things can go wrong. Yeah. There's something went wrong with you, something wrong with the injector, or something wrong with the product. One of those 3, or maybe a combination of 2.
All 3. Yeah.
I know that you contacted the maker of the products, which was not available in the UK when you had it. Which was,
no.
Which you think that maybe there was a product issue here. What actually was it? We're not absolutely sure. And they didn't accept responsibility, nor should they, because they couldn't possibly. But the person who was no longer with that company, who formerly owned it, did reach out to you.
He absolutely did.
And did a wonderful thing and funded your next surgeries.
Yeah,
which the health service wouldn't do because you were out of the woods, but the next corrective surgeries, they funded that, which I thought was
you know what, I mean, talking about people and kindness, he could have just blocked me on whatever I contacted him.
Nothing you could have done about it.
No, and he could have said, I'm not interested in it, but he didn't. I sent him a few photographs and I was just explaining what had happened, and he said, I'd like to help you. And I thought, well, my goodness, you know, you don't need to do that, but he did. And even now, you know, I'll send him photographs of how I look, and he's like, you look great, you know, you look great. And these people I'll never forget, you know. I mean, I've forgotten her. I could have gone to the papers with her, I could have sued her, I could have did, but at the end of the day, I didn't want it to define me. I don't want to be bitter, twisted, and nothing is going to bring it back. So I thought, well, I'm a firm believer in karma, put it that way.
And here you are now, I mean, talking to the world, showing yourself, you know, no mask.
No.
Very much just you, and you come to terms with it from what I can see as best you could.
Yeah.
You come out with it talking it in, again, not in a vindictive, I blame this, I blame that. You are very much, this is what happened, and now I'm moving on to the next stage in my life.
I mean, it's psychologically, you know, I'm not going to lie, it has affected me. I'm not that gregarious, confident person, you know. I can look in a mirror, this might sound strange, I can look in a mirror without actually looking at my features. You know, if I'm doing my hair, I don't focus on my face.
You sort of fuzz your face out, or you focus on different
Yeah.
other areas.
Yeah, I've just become an expert at that. But, you know, life's too short and all the rest of it, so I just make the best of what I've got.
Which is a lot, you know, in terms of who you are and yourself. I thought when the first time that I met you, I really admired the way you would cope with it. I mean, this morning before we were doing this, I noticed a little blemish on my chin. I thought, oh, I'm not like that. That's a bit annoying, you know.
Welcome to my world.
And then we look at the sort of things that you've had to deal with. It's makes me feel like a complete idiot.
Oh, you're not.
But it's just remarkable how you came through it, and you had to do it, much of it really by yourself, you know, with some help from family, but a lot of it's a very individual struggle, and then to cope with such a sudden change over what was a very, very simple thing, which is done, like
I
I say,
know.
every day in every
I know.
high street in the country. It's going on.
I felt sorry for my daughter, because she was, at the time it happened, I didn't say anything, and she was training to be cabin crew down in London, and she kept wanting to FaceTime me when it was at its most horrific.
Nice.
And I was saying, "Oh, have a look at the dog. Look what the dog's doing." And she's like, "Mom, I want to talk to you." And I'm thinking, what can I say? What can I say? I can't, because she would have had a meltdown, and then she was training, so I didn't want to jeopardise her future career and all the rest of it. So yeah, and explaining to her, and having her to come home and look at it, a bit helpless, you know. Fortunately, I don't think it'll ever happen to her, because she's terrified of needles anyway.
Okay.
You know, so that's a godsend. Yeah, so yeah, it's a difficult one, but it is what it is, as they say.
I mean, you wouldn't stop her from having things done. You would say, just go somewhere good.
No, I'd say, go and have a look at this album that I've made, and
that's right.
come sit in a dark room and read it. Well, it's just a book that I did for myself on photographs.
Yes, you made this book, and it was a way of, was it a cathartic way of just putting everything down
it's
into
just
order?
a story and pictures, really.
Yeah.
From the start to the, from the start to late last year, I think.
Yeah.
So that was me before it all.
Yes, you call it My Trauma in Photos, in that way. Yeah. Wow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I think the message we've put across is, I hope, clear. In terms of, we want people to make decisions. These things are great treatments. They can be in the correct hands. No, obviously there are potential for issues, but above all else, just choose carefully.
Yeah.
Take time to think. Just be aware that it's not all roses and looking great on Instagram. There are potential complications, and always consider the importance of not when things go right, but what if things go wrong. What happens then? That is way more important than if things go right.
I think so.
I mean,
it's not meant to be like me saying, don't have anything done and it's a lecture or that type of thing. It's just because now that I can talk about it without bursting into tears, which was quite difficult for a lot of years, and now I can talk about it. It's just what I wish that I'd done, and like you say, it's more, not having it done is having it done is important, but finding out what to do if it goes wrong, because there's nothing wrong with having that knowledge anyway. I mean, where do you go? What do you do? Is there anybody out there that can, without having to go through? The last thing I wanted to do at that time was to start Googling things and going to a practitioner for help that I didn't know them. They could potentially make it even worse. And, it's just, when I think back now, I don't know how I managed to do all that on my own, but strength of character. So
absolutely,
I pat myself on the back for that.
You should. Thank you so much for coming.
Oh no, I've enjoyed it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Enjoyed it.
Well, I can't thank Jackie enough for sharing her story. I was really overwhelmed when I first met her about the way she had dealt with it, her bravery, her lack of anger and desire for vengeance as to what had happened to her. And it is just worthwhile pausing before you have these procedures and thinking very carefully, do I know what happens if this goes wrong? And is the person experienced enough, has the care required, the backup required, and the experience required if things were to go wrong? Thank you to Jackie. I hope it's a lesson for all of us. And we really look forward to seeing you again on the next episode of the Health Drive.